All right, so welcome back here to the Winter Fancy Food Show. We continue our coverage. Today I've got Renske Lynde with Food System 6. Great to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having a great day.
All right, so Food System 6. Tell us, first of all, what is Food System 6 for our viewers and our audience here?
Sure. So Food System 6 is a nonprofit organization. We are based here in the Bay Area. And we support mission-driven entrepreneurs who are changing our food system.
All right.
So we've got a bunch of entrepreneurs that are showcasing here today at the Fancy Food Show. And they're integrating aspects of health and sustainability and food justice in their businesses as they remake the food system.
Incubator, accelerator,
exactly.
Startup. What was it that what was your background to kind of get into this?
Yeah, so I've been working to improve our food system for about 25 years. That's a number I don't like to admit altogether too often, as you might imagine, but and I was working in nonprofit organizations, so we were really good at raising awareness about some of the problems in our food system, some of the big challenges we face, food waste, access to healthy foods, things of that nature. And I was really inspired by the team at Revolution Foods, who really dynamic group of entrepreneurs who built a really important and impactful business. And I thought that there would be a great opportunity for me to build on my work in changing the food system and really leveraging the interest on behalf of investors and the food industry in products that better meet the consumer demand of today.
Yeah. So kind of looking at how other startups were getting into it, looking at that as a passion point, saying, okay, how can I help these people kind of realize their dreams?
How can I help them grow and scale and really change the food system in some really impactful ways?
Yeah. So Food System 6, what was kind of the naming convention there?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we as humanity have designed and developed 5 different food systems to meet our needs since the beginning of time, hunter-gatherers. And that progressed as we started to settle into communities and grow our own food. And we began to select and hybridize crops that met certain needs. And we went on from there to putting a lot of chemicals and pesticides in our food.
There you go.
And then we went from there to build a system that was designed primarily for shelf life, convenience, and logistics. That's our 5th food system. And we at Food System 6 are about supporting the kind of entrepreneurs that are building a whole new system that's focused on very different sets of characteristics and attributes.
Sure. That's one thing that we've seen in both food technology. A lot of the incubators are here at the Fancy Food Show. Tons of companies up here that are just, you walk into that and you just don't expect to see what you get to see there, which is innovation coming from plant-based, innovation coming from insects.
Yeah, we've got some in our portfolio.
Yeah,
They're here. It's exciting.
It's just all over the place.
Yeah.
Different kind of fermentation. There's different kind of processes being done.
Yeah.
So with all of this new kind of technology and science that's going into food startups, what is it that you do when you look at trying to select or trying to figure out who to partner with?
Sure.
What's the process there?
That's a great question. So first and foremost, we want to understand what the entrepreneur is trying to do.
Okay.
And so what kind of impact are they looking to have? Are they really focused on food waste? Are they really focused on eliminating food waste? Are they really focused on bringing a healthier, more sustainable food product? Do they really care about growers and ranchers and farmers and really involving them in the process? So really trying to identify what is the impact that they want to have. And then we like to see that they have some proof of traction in the marketplace. So some feedback from customers, they're kind of beyond a great idea, basically. And then we decide together if it makes sense for us to help add value to them and bring them all the assistance and connections to investors and retailers and mentors and all the legal support that you need when you're growing a business. So all of the things that might, not necessarily be sexy or fun, but are really important when you're building a business.
Kind of curious when you are working with startups, because there's a lot of startups here in the aisles of the Fancy Food Show. Maybe it's their first time in, food manufacturing or packaging or all those kind of things. What are some of the sticking points that you've had a chance to see over the variety of startups that you've worked with that kind of are replicating themselves? Like whether it's, hey, they have a problem. This is a constant problem of the legal aspect, not really being able to put their their organization together right.
Sure.
What are some of the challenges?
Startup formation is definitely an area that we see a lot of first-time founders in particular really need a lot of help around. If you've never built a business, there's just so much you don't know until you're forced to confront it and deal with it. Hiring, building a board, thinking about what your governance structure is going to look like. Certainly, how do you how do you meet and manage relationships with investors?
Yeah.
And what is it that they're looking for, and how can you build the right kind of partnership with an investor? That's a really big area of need.
Yeah. And I don't think when you look at startups and just young companies in general, they don't put enough emphasis on that kind of aspect of their business, which is a really critical part of it for it to scale and grow, and then eventually, whether you go into Series A or you're starting to build on your VC fund opportunities.
That's right. Yeah,
you've got to have that
sometimes not the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That you really want to be working on your brands and your logo, and that's really important. And it's how you're interacting with your customer base that really matters. But you also really need to have your whole house in order.
Yeah, I saw a note. We were researching some just companies in this very topic, and found out that Facebook, which was their original their original entity, was in Florida, which is our home state, and they were an LLC to start. So they were starting in Florida, which is not a great place for VC funding. Normally you want a Delaware corporation.
Right.
And they were an LLC, which was the other no-no to try to get. I mean, if you're looking for cash, from angels or investors. So those are kind of some of the mistakes that first-time founders or just general founders do make.
Absolutely,
So I
that's
think
when that's when all the gray hair actually
starts in.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we've been there, we've done that, we've seen it. We can anticipate what some of those roadblocks might be, and just again, it's all about how can we help them move past that.
Yeah. Have you guys built any kind of infrastructure? Because this is something I see in the VC world, where they create teams and advisors that can help with a path into packaging or a path into food science, or how do you guys go about building your resource?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we've been at this for 5 years with the organization, but for many years before that as operators in the space. So our team has been in and around investing and entrepreneurship, serial entrepreneurship, building businesses in the food industry. So it's certainly where our long-term relationships really come to play.
Okay.
Across the board. And really, first and foremost for us, the work that we do with our entrepreneurs is it's custom. It's really tailored to meet their needs. So, and because we're working all throughout the value chain, some of our startups really need access to ranchers, for example, to pilot their technology. Some of them really, need to get some feedback really early on from retailers.
Right.
So we build those kind of mentor-advisor relationships directly into our program.
Let's talk about some of the areas of innovation in your portfolio.
Great.
So what are some of the companies, what are some of the areas that you guys really think are hot right now?
Hot, yeah, for sure. Well, food waste certainly.
That's a big one.
It's a really big one.
We've had a couple of companies on here today about
that's great.
Trying to do food waste.
Yeah, I mean, if we, the estimates range from, if food waste were its own country, it would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gas in the world.
Okay.
I've heard anywhere from third to fifth. Still,
so you almost need an
really
entire
problem.
economy just to deal with that.
You do, and I think it's also really important to think about what are the co-benefits of mitigating food waste. So there's a company that's featured here today called Imperfect Produce, and so they're tackling food waste on the farm with fruits and vegetables that would ordinarily just be discarded because they don't meet the cosmetic standards of a retailer, and they're able to deliver that to consumers' doors. So healthier, fresh box of fruits and vegetables for 30% off the retail price. So I think that's a great example of the kind of company that, we're excited about because they're, tackling food waste and providing a healthier alternative. Another is Renewal Mill. They're also here as well.
Yeah, I saw those,
Yeah, so they're working with the byproduct of tofu production.
I love that.
Yeah, and turning it into a flour, that can be used for baked goods. And they've got some really tasty products upstairs that they're sampling.
Yep.
So, again, it's a really, it's a byproduct of the manufacturing process that would otherwise have gone to waste that is now being repurposed.
Those are the ones I find so interesting, is when it's something like that just, it's kind of a no-brainer, and it just comes to fruit, and someone that either builds a product or a package around, and then it becomes something useful like that. So really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So any kind of trends that you're seeing that you're saying, because the typical are plant-based, obviously, is on.
Sure. Really excited about that. Yeah.
But with the amount of people that are probably coming to you guys today, you're probably seeing some kind of early adoption trends.
For sure.
Anything that is kind of in the cycle that we might see in 5 years?
Well, you've already talked about crickets, so they're already here.
Yep.
To say that they're mainstream, would
Not
be
yet.
a far cry. We've got a lot of work to do to really build that as, a sustainable, healthy protein alternative. I would say that what's really, I think, coming to the forefront, and this is particularly exciting for me and for my team, are, better for you products, healthier products that have a deep focus on environmental sustainability and really looking to marry those. So there's a company here called Barron. It's a plant-based product, but with a lot of focus on the integrity in their supply chain, really focused on how to improve access to sustainably grown almonds, in this case, in particular with their first product line. So those are the kinds of things that I think it's really exciting to me, having been focused on transforming the food system, that so much new energy and attention is being paid by the big food companies, big agriculture companies, who are really recognizing that, we've run up against some planetary limits in terms of what we can produce on our, to sustain us all.
That's a great point.
This is it's starting to happen, where you're starting to see things as not just like making incremental improvements, but actually building an entirely new food system.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And what we've watched here on our network is kind of this evolution of, if you look back even into the mid 2000s, where kind of these fast casual concepts emerged and just blew up. Which kind of spawned that healthy halo eater, which I think spawned a lot of where we are seeing now plant-based growth.
Definitely.
And now that, I think, as the consumer gets more educated, they're putting a lot more demands and tweaks on the suppliers, which is pushing the envelope for
it's
development
really
of the
exciting.
product.
We're starting, even in the plant-based space, also seeing alternatives to ocean-based products.
Yeah.
I mean, which is really, really critical issue from a sustainability standpoint.
Yeah.
Is preventing overfishing, and we really need to have alternatives out there on the marketplace that, are tasty and healthy, and people can feel really good about the fact that they're making a conscious choice, to help support our oceans. So.
Well, very cool, Renske.
Yeah,
it's
thanks.
been great having you and Food
Great to be
System
here.
6 on, so thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
the rest of your day. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll continue to cover the Winter Fancy Food Show right here from the SFA Live booth. If you are not here at the show, you're missing a lot, but hopefully some of these episodes are going to be available to you, and make sure and catch us right here. We'll see you in a few.